What's going on, guys? Byron here from ETA Wheels with my day one update on the Skull Candy. Actually, I lied, this is day two. But I'm going to give you my day one thoughts, and then I'm going to give you my day two thoughts. Let's get it. All right, so the first thing I want to talk about, especially if you're wearing these in a professional environment, I want you to just go ahead and take a look at this little annoying blinky LED. See that? So you've got that thing on your neck, and even if you're wearing a polo, that stands out. Okay? So that's kind of an annoyance. If you're trying to wear these in the office, you're going to have that going off all the time, and people are going to look at you funny. So let's talk about these. These are the as installed out of the box. I believe these are the medium, if I remember correct. And yes, they are. So these are the mediums. All right, so they're fairly comfortable. You do get a little bit of a sound reduction. Sound quality is, after wearing it all day, sound quality is okay. It's not really great, but it's not really bad. Yeah? It's definitely passable. This will definitely get you through the day. I was able to use these all day at work while I'm doing my job, and I ended up with, to give you the battery count, 60%. So I'm at 60%. Now, I wasn't using them particularly heavily today. When I used them yesterday, I actually ran out of Go Juice right about the time I clocked out. So there you go. Of the three that we've tested, this has the lowest battery life. So let's talk about what I do like. Other than that annoying flashing LED that I don't know why you would put that on the top. Like, put it on the bottom, put it at the back, put it somewhere where it's not noticeable. Imagine you're sitting in a meeting, right, and you're talking to people, and you got this little blinky light on your neck all the time, right? Are they staring at you, or are they staring at your neck? If they're staring at your neck, are they staring at your blinky light, or are they trying to look down your shirt? Fellas, we've all been there. So, blinky light notwithstanding, like, if I were going to keep these and use these for work, I would literally take a Sharpie and paint that black. Maintains the stealth. This is your microphone. Let's see if it'll focus in on that. Let's try that. Hey, you can get a real good shot of that blinky light. There you go, you can kind of see it. It's right there. That's your microphone. There is only one microphone. And now we're going to talk about the second most annoying thing. Not only is this not a micro USB, but you've got to fight this damn cover every time you try to plug it in to charge. And I gotta be honest, this is a stupid design. They could have easily put a flap down here on the bottom like the Sony, or hell, even an open slot like the Beats would have been a better choice. Then again, so would a USB-C port. This is 2021. Skull Candy. The length of the cable that you provided, amazing. But it's micro USB. We live in a USB-C world now. Sound quality, again, it's not that bad. So day one, I ran these without an EQ app. Day two, I ran them today with the EQ app going all day. And I will say that with the EQ app running on the phone while I'm listening to my music, these are not bad. They are nowhere near as good as my Smokin' Buds 2. Not even close. Would I buy these? Would I recommend these to anybody? The person I would recommend these to is the person who's not going to wear these in the office. I'm going to recommend these to the person who's going to wear them on their way to work, chuck them in their bag, go to the gym. I will say, when you've got them set up, they stay balanced fairly well. Every now and again I noticed it would kind of twist on my neck because these are not particularly heavy, so there's not a lot of weight to hold it in the front there. However, if you're at the gym, you're working out, you're just looking for something, you don't care if you sweat on it, you don't care. This is the one. There is some type of moisture proofing, though how moisture proof it is, I couldn't tell you. I'm not going to try to tell you. I mean, hell, Skull Candy doesn't tell you. They're marketed as a sport type earphone, so I'm assuming you can sweat on them safely. I noticed that this here is a little bit of an adjustment, so if you want to run the cable so that it sits up higher for you, you can do that. This is what it sits normally. And it just gives a little extra support. And when you want to put these in your bag, you can just kind of run this out. You can do the same with this. There we go. And it just kind of streamlines it a little bit, I guess, when it's in your backpack. You can wear it like this if you choose to. I don't know why you would, but I mean, you could. Just kind of pop it up and out in your ear. I mean, you can do that if you want. I don't recommend it because it's kind of a pain in the ass to fiddle with it, but I mean, Skull Candy built it that way. A couple of the reviews I've seen on it, people have talked about that. And they said it was convenient. I don't really think so. I just prefer to leave it there and be done with it. Now that being said, the way I found out these moved is because they are not particularly soft or smooth. So I had it here and I did something where I turned my neck and then this thing just kind of drug across my neck and it was a little uncomfortable. Not like, you know, it's not going to cut you. It's not, you know, nothing like that, but they could have done a better job. So all in all, on the shootout, these are still number 3. I'll be doing the full comparison and releasing that video hopefully in the next few days. But they're not bad. They're not great. Where do I think Skull Candy could improve? Well, you could use the earbud from the Smokin' Buds 2, which has a little bit of a different design for the woofer. Sound quality is way better. These chintzy little cables are going to break. If this thing's going to fail, this is probably going to be where it fails. I understand why you put the rubber cover there. You put the rubber cover there to keep dust and gunk out of the charging port. Roger, check, got it. But I mean, look, that's how far you can pull it out. So now you've got to flip this thing way back like that. I don't even know if it'll focus. There it is. You got to flip this like way out of the way, and then you got to get your cable in there. And so you have to fight this, which tries to wedge itself in between the cable and the cable end. So you've just got to fight this thing all the way around. Not a very good design. I mean, seriously, they could have just put it right there. Made if they're going to stick with this, they could make this to where it, kind of pulls out off to the side more, or maybe pivots. That would be my suggestion. And of course, make this a USB-C. those are the two biggest things that I feel Skull Candy could improve upon. Beefier cables, better charging port, USB-C, and changing these out for the Smokin' Buds 2 style earbud. I can see these being really good at a gym. I can see these being really good where you just want to listen to some music. If you put them in your ear, you do get some isolation. It's not bad. It's not good. The other thing I've noticed is when you do wear these for a little bit of an extended time, like I'd say 45 minutes to an hour, it kind of hurts. And even when I dropped it down to the smaller size earbud, there's some fatigue that goes on there. So that's something you might want to be concerned with. Maybe it bothers you, maybe it doesn't. I mean, for me, I just take them out and don't listen to music for a few minutes and then put them back in. Not a big deal. So overall, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd say they're a 5 or a 6, tops. Tops. They're not really all that bad. I know my review is a little bit slanted, sorry. They're not really that bad. Would I be a little disappointed if I bought them and this was going to be my only pair of earbuds? Yeah, I would. I would be. I would be a little bit, but realistically, they're not bad. If you're like looking to connect this to PlayStation 4, for example, and have a chat with your friends and stuff, great choice. Very comfortable. Sits around your neck. Do the one ear while you're playing. It's great. Sitting in the car, listening to your GPS. Great. Not a problem. But for anything like, if you're really, really trying to get the most out of your music, this is definitely not the set for you. Now, after running the EQ app, it did improve quite a bit. So with an equalizer app running and listening to your music, I would bump this up to about a 6. They're still not that great. The Beats are far more comfortable, and the Sony are way better, way better, way better. And both of them are in the same price point, and I'm sorry, all three of them are really in the same price point. And the Beats and the Sony smoke this for battery life. If you're riding on a train and you're taking a train, or you're riding on a bus and you know you're just going to listen to it while you're doing that, this is probably a pretty good choice. If you're at the gym, this is a pretty good choice. But I feel there's better out there. So this is Byron. Y'all have a great rest of your day. What's going on, guys? It's Byron. So here we are, a couple days later, after trying out the Skull Candy Inked Plus. And I've got some observations. The battery life is not really all that great, but it's not really all that bad. It'll get you through more or less a regular day, I guess. If you are intensely, actively listening to music, making phone calls, etc., you may find that you need to top it up. A couple of observations about these. They're fairly stealth, but I have serious concerns with how, let me hide my eyeballs here. It's on eye autofocus, I apologize. But you can see how thin this is. So I have reservations about the overall longevity of these. But then again, I got 3 years out of my my previous gold standard, which was the Skull Candy Smokin' Buds 2. Overall, I would say these are not bad. Call clarity is okay. What I don't like is the controls here. I'm not a fan. if you take a look here, the controls are right in line on with the cable. So when it's in your ear, it's not what I would consider a natural motion to just kind of reach down here and do it. Now, granted, you adjust and you get used to it. I like the fact that the volume down button is here and the volume up button is here, because most of the time you're probably going to be turning it down real quick anyway. Music quality, I mean, really, I'm going to rate these about a 3. However, after I started using it with the Equalizer app, I'm going to say it improved things greatly. It's still not perfect, but I'm going to rate these at a solid 6. These are number 3 of my headset comparison. And that's not saying that they're bad, and they're not saying you shouldn't buy it. Who should buy it? Well, I'm going to tell you, if you're working out and you're active, or you're active at work, having the collar with the weight distributed forward is going to keep these so that they're stable, they're stationary. You don't really notice that it's there, and that's a good thing. So you can kind of go stealth with them, tuck it into your collar. I mean, if you had a polo, you would never know that you had these, or any kind of a collared shirt, you would never know that you had a set of earbuds. Now, these, unlike the other two in the comparison, are not magnetic. I kind of wish they were, because if they were, they would just stay right here, and that gives you that extra level just in case this does slide. What I found throughout the course of the day is that this would not slide at all. In fact, it would not move unless you moved it. And the single biggest complaint that I have with these is this is not a USB Type-C. This is 2021. This should have had a USB Type-C. Skull Candy, get with the program, please. At least, I will say this. Of all of these different earbuds, this was the only one that came with a real charging cable that was more than about 4 or 5 inches long. So I see the person I see buying these is, again, somebody who works in an office. You want a little bit of noise isolation while you listen to your music. Maybe you're typing your documents up, or you're writing your inspection results or something like that. These are pretty good for that. These do make decent phone calls, but I found that sometimes the mic is not always the clearest. It's not bad. It's very passable. It's very acceptable. I mean, I guess if I had to describe these, I would describe them as purgatory. It's not really great, but it's not really all that bad, you know? Would I buy a set of these again? If I did, I would get the active version, which looks to have far more comfortable earbuds than these do. Other than that, battery life is, I mean, again, it's not really that great. I know they advertise it at like 10 hours or something like that. Here, I think I still have read it off the box here. Up to 8 hours of battery life. So these definitely have the lowest battery life out of the group that were tested. Again, if all you're looking for is just to listen to a little bit of music while you're doing your thing, maybe you're like me and you drive an older car that doesn't have connectivity for your mobile device, which I forgot to silence, and I'm sorry. Not that it was anything important. So if all you're doing is you just need a generic set, you're not really super passionate about your music, they're not bad. Actually, I'm going to give these an audio. I would say that they're about a 5. They're about a 5 on the audio quality. They're not really that good if you're listening to the spoken word type stuff. But they're not bad, you know? Overall, it gets the job done. So, Skull Candy Inked Plus. It gets the job done. That's the best positive spin I can put on those. They're really not that bad. Nowhere near as good as my Smokin' Buds in terms of audio quality. In fact, I would say not even remotely close. None of these really are out of the box. After using the EQ, things improved dramatically, and this would be a solid 7. So if you do have an EQ app on your phone or you listen to a lot of music, you're gonna want to get an EQ app. I ran all of these for one full day without using any of the EQ apps because I just want to see how they sound out of the box. I want to listen to the sound profile out of the box. I've never run an EQ with these, and I've always been insanely happy. They are, however, unfortunately very much dead. And even if I were to buy a new set of Smokin' Buds 2, they would be leftover stock from 2018. This is at least a newer model. These are also a newer model. Anyway, this is Byron from ETA Wheels. You have a great rest of your day.